What up, what up, what up? SnazzyJazzyJay in the building, and today I want to talk about 5 characters that I think should definitely be added into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Whether it be in the movies or the Netflix side of it, there are a few fan favorites that should get either their own solo series or movie, or even just be in one of the larger team-up movies. There are so many characters to choose from, so obviously it's going to take a while to incorporate everyone they want to without oversaturating the audience. But so far, it doesn't seem like the superhero movie trend is slowing down at all. It keeps on growing and growing, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. With the biggest movie in the MCU coming out in a few weeks, we are sure to see some changes afterwards heading into Phase 4. Some of our favorite are sure to either die at the hand of Thanos or maybe just choose the retirement route like Hawkeye, with heroes sure to leave, especially because of the actors' contracts being up like Chris Evans after Avengers 4. We're going to be seeing some different heroes come in and fill in the gaps. I'm going to give you a list of 5 heroes I would like to see added to the MCU, so with that, here we go. Yes, I said Ghost Rider, and I know that he has already been featured on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think Ghost Rider deserves his own movie in the MCU. Ghost Rider is one of the coolest anti-heroes in all of Marvel, no pun intended. The actor who played Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did an excellent job in my eyes. I would love to see him get his own movie so we could see him team up with some of the Avengers and take us to a darker side of the MCU. Now I know so far there have been no plans to cross over any of the TV shows, and all we get is a reference to the movies. But if they were going to take a character from the shows, Ghost Rider would not be bad at all. Nicolas Cage has already starred in 2 Ghost Rider movies, and in my opinion, they weren't that great, but he took on the iteration of Johnny Blaze, who in the comics is a motorcycle stuntman that made a deal with Mephisto to save his father's life. He rides a fiery motorcycle and his head becomes a flaming skull. Ghost Rider is just a freaking badass. There have been a few different iterations of the Ghost Rider, with the main ones being Blaze, Danny Ketch, and Robbie Reyes, which was portrayed by Gabriel Luna in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like I said, I know he's technically already in the MCU, but the Ghost Rider can take us to newer, darker, hellish places in the MCU that we haven't seen yet, so let's hope in the future he gets his own solo movie. Next up at number 4, I am gonna have to go with Namor. Namor the Submariner is the son of a sea captain and the princess of the underwater kingdom of Atlantis. Known by many as Marvel's first mutant in terms of the order the comics were published, someone like Apocalypse predates Namor by thousands of years. He becomes Prince of Atlantis himself and is one of the first anti-heroes fighting against the surface dwellers for the mistreatment of his waters. Does some of this sound familiar? Yeah, you might be thinking that Namor is a ripoff of Aquaman, but actually Namor debuted in 1939 and Aquaman debuted in November 1941. So it seems as if Namor is the rightful ruler of the sea. With Aquaman movie coming out at the end of this year, based on the success of that movie, it would not surprise me if Marvel capitalizes on it by making their own underwater themed movie with Namor. The half-human and half-Atlantean has the ability to swim at superhuman speeds, even above the Atlantean standards, superhuman strength, speed, and agility, and for some reason, he can fly too.
Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere.
He can breathe underwater and go flying through the air.
The noble submariner, prince of the deep, will be waiting every season.
Lord Famer of Atlantis is the prince of the deep.
He's got the best of both worlds. Namor is over 90 years old with the longevity way above any average human, still appearing in peak physical form. He has worked with the Avengers, Defenders, and Fantastic Four, so he is no stranger, and I think it would be awesome if Marvel takes one of their movies to the sea. Let's see if we see him in the MCU anytime soon.
I am Namor, ruler of the kingdom of Atlantis.
Moving on at number 3, we got...
And now, foul demon, face the vengeance of the Moon Knight.
Yes sir, number 3 is the Moon Knight. Maybe a lesser known hero to the less hardcore fans, but Moon Knight is a beast. I've seen people posting videos that potentially he will get a Netflix show or maybe cameo in the next Punisher season, but as of now, nothing. Especially with Disney saying they want to withdraw all of their content from Netflix because they're going to start their own streaming service, I kind of find it hard to believe that he's going to get his own show. But Moon Knight is a former Marine and became a mercenary. He is a skilled combatant that has mastered many forms of fighting such as ninjutsu, Muay Thai, boxing, and Kung Fu. Moon Knight, real name Mark Spector, gained his powers while on an archaeological dig, and he lost in hand-to-hand combat with one of his biggest nemesises, named Bushman, and left to die before the statue of the moon god named Khonshu. Khonshu offers Spectre a second chance if he becomes the avatar of the moon god on Earth. He has many aliases and is often compared to Batman because of his many special gadgets, unlimited resources, and his bachelor-style alias. Moon Knight is a very cool character, and I think he would be able to carry his own Netflix series with ease and help him become more of a household name. What do you think? You think he could get his own show? Number two on my list, I am gonna have to go with the vampire hunter, Blade. Blade is already a huge fan favorite due to the popularity of the Blade trilogy in the late 90s, early 2000s starring Wesley Snipes. For the most part, the series was pretty positively received. Blade, real name Eric Brooks, was born the son of a prostitute in a whorehouse in London, and while giving birth, his mother was feasted on by the doctor, who was actually a vampire, causing Eric to get the vampire enzymes in his own blood, and now he gained vampire-like abilities, but also caused him to be immune to full vampirism, hypnosis, and vampire bites. At a young age, he trained in hand-to-hand combat, and was especially skilled with sharp weapons, giving birth to the name Blade. After he lost his girlfriend to a vampire, Blade turned his complete focus in life to the extermination of all vampires. Now, if Blade doesn't get put in the MCU, I would love to see him team up with someone like the Punisher and get his own Netflix series. And yes, I know the Netflix series are technically part of the MCU, but I just separate it for now. The dark grittiness that is allowed in Netflix would actually be better for the Vampire Hunter, just like the Punisher series. And also, to really dig deep into Blade's story would be great. But in the comics, he's teamed up with Doctor Strange at times to take on Dracula and other supernatural threats, so he'd fit good in the movies too. He's teamed up with other characters like Ghost Rider and Morbius. There's so many good storylines to draw from using Blade, and based on how well the Wesley Snipes movies did, maybe it's time for a reboot. He could team up with Doctor Strange in the movies against supernatural threats, but as I said before, I think a Netflix show would really suit Blade. Let's see what happens. Alright, number one, and for this one, I'm going to lump in a bunch together because number one is the X-Men Fantastic Four, and I know Venom is in development and so far it's not tied to the MCU, but hopefully shit changes. Now that Disney deal with Fox is all but complete, hopefully we see the X-Men and Fantastic Four sooner than later. The X-Men movies have had some good moments, but basically feel subpar. Obviously Wolverine and Hugh Jackman have held it down, but it's sad that we'll probably never see him interact with someone like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. The Fantastic Four has been almost completely destroyed by the latest movie that came out, and the two before were just I don't know, I'm just very hopeful that if we get a new take on the mutants and First Family, that'll be done right. I mean, really, Disney and Marvel hasn't failed us yet. As for Spider-Man and Sony, they let him in Civil War and struck a deal for him to be in the MCU. The MCU is just doing it right. And Spider-Man has some of the best villains in all of Marvel, like Doc Ock, Venom, Green Goblin, Kraven. I firmly believe if they can get all of their characters back under one roof, the MCU can be like the real comic universe where everything connects. Maybe I'm just too hopeful, but I want to see Spidey and Deadpool or Spidey and Daredevil work together. The possibilities are endless, and I really hope it comes into fruition. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Is there any possibility that Marvel and Disney can get all of their characters into the MCU and make it work? That's it for me, though. SnazzyJazzyJay, you already know. Thanks for watching.